Hey, I'm Dr. Annalisa Durr. I am a goddess scholar and educator, a pilgrimage guide, and soon to be author, writing on the goddess Inanna and menstrual sacrality. What do I mean when I say journey to the goddess? People think I mean I am the goddess that people are journeying to, in this very kind of superficial meaning of goddess. But when I say journey to the goddess, I'm actually talking about the search for the divine feminine within. So the journey for me began when I was sitting on a beach in South India, reading a book about Mother Mary and the Gnostic feminine figure, Sophia. And I had just come off this very difficult, immersive dance theater intensive in India, and we were dancing traditional South Indian dance forms. And it was very moving because we were embodying the sacred figures of this mythological religious tradition, but it was very physically challenging and psychologically challenging too. But as I was sitting there with this book, just deep compressing and trying to integrate this whole experience, I suddenly had this deep revelation that I was sitting in a culture that reveres the sacred feminine, that sees her literally everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean like literally in the interactions between people and the sound of the cowbells. Remember, the cow is a representation of Lakshmi, the goddess of love, abundance, and auspiciousness. She's the smell of jasmine in the air. The whole cosmology of Hinduism can't exist without the sacred feminine. She really is. She's Shakti. She's life force energy. She's power. She's everywhere. And I didn't even understand Hinduism much at that point, but I knew that I was looking at a culture that believed in her and revered her, and compared to the Christian tradition, which saw her nowhere. She wasn't an afterthought. She wasn't talked about. She never existed. And as I was grazing through this book, I was convinced that there must be a lost tradition of this hidden or suppressed goddess. And I became so focused on discovering her. I go back to New York and I'm consuming all these books. And at some point, I start to get curious about Mary Magdalene. And one day, sitting in meditation, I lit some candles and I was praying in my heart, guide me, help me find this missing sacred feminine. And I felt Mary Magdalene's presence around me in the space. I didn't see her. I didn't hear her. I just felt this loving, warm embrace. And I had this inner knowing that she was going to be my guide on this journey to find this missing sacred feminine. And it was from that point that I was voracious, like a hungry ghost. I was consuming everything I could about Mary Magdalene because I knew she was going to help me find the answers I was seeking. And eventually that led me to go on a pilgrimage to her sites in the south of France. And so after having all these extraordinary experiences of coming to know her more intimately, I've called the living presence of Mary Magdalene in these sites that she had allegedly lived and taught and sat in deep devotion and prayer. It was through going on that pilgrimage that I realized at the end of my journey that my journey had just begun and that it was a journey to understand what it means to be a woman through the eyes of the goddess. And I realized that this outer journey to Mary Magdalene was actually an inner journey to understand myself and find the sacred feminine within. The pilgrimage itself became an initiation, and that initiation took me on a journey to graduate school and learn more about the sacred feminine through reading the sacred texts, through being in conversation with other people, and creating this beautiful container where I could dive more deeply and find the information that I was looking for and to help me answer my questions. What does it mean to be a woman through the eyes of the sacred? And what does it mean to be a woman outside of patriarchal enculturation? So that is the origin story of Journey to the Goddess. For me, the Journey to the Goddess is not actually about the physical journey. The physical journey allows us to go on the inner journey. If you feel inspired or called by what I just shared, I invite you to check out my pilgrimage to the south of France, where we will walk in the footsteps of Mary Magdalene. We will learn about her presence there. We will experience the transformation of pilgrimage. We'll dive into some of her myths and the legends and some of her sacred teachings. And if a pilgrimage isn't right for you now, then I invite you to check out the Mystical Mary Magdalene workshop, which is available through my website, which gives you a taste of what we'll experience on the pilgrimage. You'll still be able to access the inner journey that Mary Magdalene takes us on. I hope you have some clarity now about what Journey to the Goddess means to me. Thanks. Bye.